Here are some of today's headlines briefly. One person is dead after a chopper crashed on top of a building in the heart of New York City while trying to make an emergency landing. Here's what we know so far. According to a senior law enforcement official, the pilot had just dropped off a passenger at the 34th Street helipad. That's when the helicopter ran into some sort of mechanical trouble. It made an emergency crash landing on the roof of 787 7th Avenue. Now, the pilot of the helicopter is the only known casualty. Here are some photos you're looking at released by the New York Fire Department from the roof in Midtown Manhattan. They show the helicopter broken apart as well as pieces scattered around. And here's New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio speaking to the press after the crash.
I want to say the most important thing first. There is no indication at this time that this was an act of terror, and there is no ongoing threat to New York City based on all the information we have right now.
So at 1:43 this afternoon, the first 911 calls came in reporting a crash and a fire at top 787 7th Avenue, which is right across the street. That's a 54-story office building. At this point, we have one confirmed fatality, and the individual, as Dan said, is believed to be the pilot of a privately owned helicopter. What we know is that approximately 1:32 this afternoon, the helicopter took off from the 34th Street heliport, and about 11 minutes later, crashed on the roof across the street from where we are now.
To go into that area, a helicopter would need the approval of LaGuardia Tower, and we need to find out if that happened or not here.
One eyewitness described what it was like at the moment the helicopter crashed.
What did you hear?
Well, it's like a big explosion. It was just shaking, that's it. It was just real shaking. I got nervous and evacuate everybody. So we don't know what to do.
What was going through your mind when you heard that?
It reminded me of 9/11. It's kind of scary, it is. It is. We don't know what was going on.
Now, do choppers technically land? Do choppers land there?
Well, from what I heard, it said it crashed. It's like a big vibration. It just crashed to the building. So they want everybody to evacuate the building.
And what was it like during that evacuation?
Scary, very scary.
This building is just a few blocks north of Times Square and just east of 30 Rock, where we're broadcasting right now. President Trump, meanwhile, has been on the defensive about the agreement his administration reached with Mexico. The deal means Trump isn't going to impose new tariffs because Mexico says it's going to do more to stem the flow of migrants crossing its southern border. But critics of the administration say some of the things Mexico's promising to do had already been agreed to months ago, like the country's commitment to deploy National Guard troops to its southern border with Guatemala. But even though there aren't going to be new tariffs on Mexican goods, President Trump is standing by his strategy of using tariffs as leverage with Mexico and in trade talks with China.
If you're talking about China, it's different than Mexico. China will subsidize their product because they want to keep people working. So China is going to pay a lot. We have put 25% on $250 billion of Chinese goods coming into our country, including $50 billion of high technology equipment and things. You haven't seen any or virtually any price increase because what China does, it's basically their companies, they subsidize their companies because they want to keep people working, they want to stay competitive. We have another $300 billion to go with China. I haven't done that because it's a very big thing for them. Not for us. For us, it's not going to matter because we'll be able to buy the product in other countries that don't have the tariffs. So it's not going to have an effect. With Mexico, what's going to happen is all the companies would immediately move into the United States. You'd have car plants going up all over our country, and there would be no tariff. From my standpoint, it's a no-brainer.
United Technologies has struck a deal to combine its aerospace business with the defense contractor Raytheon, creating a new giant in the aerospace industry. The merger is going to create a new company called Raytheon Technologies. It's a one-stop shop for everything from Tomahawk missiles and radar systems to jet engines to airplane seats. It would have annual sales of about $74 billion. That would make it the second largest aerospace and defense company in the U.S. behind only Boeing. President Trump was asked what the merger could mean for costs in defense spending.
I'm a little concerned about United Technology and Raytheon because one of the things that I bring up all the time, we used to have many plane companies. We used to have many. They've all merged. Now we have very few. We have, the two main ones, as you know. and you have Lockheed, and you have Boeing, and you have a little bit, some others, but a little bit. They've all merged in. So it's hard to negotiate when you have two companies, and sometimes you get one bid.
Baseball legend David Ortiz is in stable condition after being shot in the back at a bar in the Dominican Republic last night. The video you're about to see might be disturbing to some viewers. It comes from a security camera at the bar. We should note this video shows the actual shooting. Now, Ortiz, who's from the DR, was shot at close range. The bullet exited through his stomach and hit a person he was there with. His dad told reporters his son was out of danger, there was no damage to his major organs, and also said he had no idea why someone would do this. According to police, their motive is under investigation. A judge in St. Louis has issued a preliminary injunction in favor of Planned Parenthood. What this means is Missouri's only abortion clinic can stay open for now. Now, the order blocks the state's attempt to not renew the clinic's annual license, which it says it was doing because of concerns about patient safety. The State Department of Health and Senior Services now has a deadline of June 21st to make a final determination on the clinic's license. Now, just for reference, had the ruling gone the other way, Missouri would have become the first state since Roe v. Wade to not have one single abortion provider. And in the category of news we didn't really see coming, Justin Bieber says he wants to challenge Tom Cruise to a UFC fight. You heard me. The singer tweeted yesterday, "I want to challenge Tom Cruise to fight in the octagon. Tom, if you don't take this fight, you're scared and you will never live it down. Who's willing to put on the fight?" And people are betting. He tagged Dana White, who's the head of the UFC, the largest mixed martial arts organization in the world. Now, the Cruise camp has yet to respond to the challenge. We don't really have any clarity on why Bieber, a 25-year-old, would challenge the movie star known for doing his own stunts to a fight, but Tom Cruise is 56 years old, and it just doesn't seem quite fair. Those are your headlines, briefly.